Good day. Hello. This is Kathleen Acker with the Game of Life 101.com. And I wrote the book, The Game of Life. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the two courses that I have. And the one thing that's great is one of the course includes both. But I have been in the corporate and legal realm for like 30 years. And so I have that logical mindset, but I've also been on this enormous thirst for spirituality and the meaning of life and finding the balance between logic and spirit. And I have walked the line quite often, standing up to what is perceived to bullies, pulling back the veil like Toto, time and time and time again, whether it was to my employer, the governor of the state, president, Supreme Court justices, judges, big company executives, and doctors or what have you. Just invoking our private natural rights, laws of nature, nature's God, and holding others accountable in a private realm. So when it comes to living in the private, I it's a mindset. It's like being a superhero and knowing when you're, walking amongst the crowd and then when you're actually standing in a different power and making sure that you have your check and balances in place so that you have a compassionate heart. So that's what brings me to my first course, the Lawful Foundations 101 for Life and Business. I love this course. I think personally it's a game changer. And if you're going to live in the private, if you're going to act in the private, you're going to have private member agreements. If you're going to be having trust or be a trustee, I think that this course is an essential course to have. It's a foundational course. What we're going to do is we go over because I have faced fear, like not once or twice, hundreds of times, in a very short period of time when I was facing my employer. And sometimes I had to respond quicker. So I had to overcome that fear a little bit quicker. And it was never by washing it and putting it under the rug and not feeling it. It was always by embodying it, feeling it, honoring it, giving it gratitude, and letting it go because I could choose to see differently. So I have a whole process and method that I teach, and that's part of the class. It's mastering fear and stepping into a frequency of courage and empowerment. That's the first part of the course. And then we go into word trickery. I love word trickery. The hidden in plain sight, Lady Justice is blindfolded folded to the truth of laws of nature and nature's God. So we look at words and we have a lot of fun with that, seeing things differently and playing with that and what that means for us. It helps us raise our vibration frequency because we are all electromagnetic field of energy. Then we kind of step on over to the nine, not five, but nine elements of a contract. And we look at them from the private and versus the public side and give examples throughout that so you can kind of really start embodying the difference between the private realm and the public realm so that you know which game is at play and you're able to be mindful about where you are. Not only that, but everything in life is a contract and all contracts are spiritual. So when you hire an attorney to do your contracts, well, you just hired somebody to bind you in their frequency, not your frequency, their frequency, and you may not even know what the terms are. So it's good to know what the terms are, and that's why I work with you on your contracts, your notices, whatever it is that you're doing, just so you're mindfully know what you're doing, and also how to clean up those contracts, how to revoke, rebuke, and rescind them. Because that's really important, terminate them. It's really important to have that and know how to do that so that you have the power to do that. It's no more people pleasing. You see people pleasing as evil because it's not an honor. And that's the golden key is to always be in honor of yourself, creator, and the other person. You establish honor for yourself. You show someone that's a bully how to honor themselves, and then they can grow. So it's very honorable to do that, to stand up for yourself. And then we go into jurisdiction, courts, cops, um, really standing in knowing your jurisdiction, your standing, and your venue. And so we do that private versus public. We do some role playing there to kind of get you in the mindset of how to act, um, always with a compassionate heart. And because we're teaching, we're growing, and we want to send love to the lower vibration people that have that robotic mindset that are just stuck, and send them love that they're holding that so that we can grow and evolve. And then we finish up with lawful notices and holding others accountable on a spiritual realm. I give examples that I've personally used and been successful applying, and what others have used, and the power that this notices have. So that is the Lawful Foundations course. Now, that course is included in the PMA group course, or if you're doing a PMA with me, because it's so foundational that I feel that it's an essence in requirement. So that's part of the package for the private member agreement. Now, why would you want to hire me on the private member agreement? I'm a contract specialist. I've negotiated thousands of contracts. I am not an attorney. I don't give legal advice, but I do have experience that is top of the line. I can do different kinds of contracts. Again, not like giving legal advice, but it can help you comprehend what you should be able to comprehend and should be taught in school and in college. Because since legal and lawful are part of our lives, everyone should know what a contract basic 101 is. It's really a disservice and dishonor to not know this and to have not been taught that. But that's okay. We're going to fix that. And I do. When you go into my course, we're going to talk about jurisdiction, private versus public, so that you comprehend that. And not only that, but you're able to explain it to your members. We're going to help you draft your own so that it's your frequency and mine. You'll have templates along the way. You'll know what needs to be in there. Um, you'll know the lawful and legal versions of it, what not to put in there. You don't want too much of that legal stuff. And attorneys might want to slip that in there so they could pull you into the public, and we don't want that. And so the benefits of having a PMA, and not only for privacy, but there's lots. You can even have a private matrimony agreement. Keep that state out of your bedroom. Yeah, because they have a vested interest and a huge moneymaker to make sure your marriage doesn't last. So we want to flip the script on that one and crumble the walls. And then we go into defining the PMA and your mission statement and purpose. It's always nice to know your purpose. If you haven't listened to Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, highly recommend it. Knowing a definitive purpose is extremely important. So then we go into structuring your PMA, drafting your membership association agreement, assembly agreement, whatever you want to call it, your bylaws, making sure, depending on if you're doing a retreat, farming, educational, faith based, health, natural ingredients and products, drafting it for you and for your members. And we always have live Q&As. We're going to go into declaring and operating your PMA, your certificate of declaration, and meeting structures. Often that's left out. When are you going to meet? How often are you going to meet? Are you going to meet with your members? When? What's the consideration that both parties are getting? Making sure you have a preamble. A lot of these membership agreements don't even have a preamble. Who's who and what's what. And it has I, we, you, and it doesn't even define I, we, you. And it's sloppy. It's just sloppy. It has one signature. You need two signatures to make it a valid contract. And know that you should be happy to be able to offer this benefit for others of like kind. It's also understanding that you can contract with like kind men and women. The roles and the responsibilities of you, of the members, maybe you have a board, knowing who does what, and decision making. Like, or is everyone going to vote on, all members are going to vote on certain things, or only certain members or certain membership or member levels going to vote on different things? and knowing that. Then we go into different kinds of contracts. Since I am a contract expert, then I can offer a variety of contracts that you may need in your business structure in the private realm. And I take them from legal into private and do so with the most delightful way to make sure that we're following the laws of nature and nature's God. And then terms and conditions, policy and procedures, disclaimers, return policies, shipping, anything like that that you might be doing. How do we set that up to make sure you're in the private realm and not the public? And emails, what are you going to have on your emails also? We go into this is a 9-week course. The other one was 5, and this is 9. I like to do the that Lawful Foundations alongside of the PMA group. So it's 9 weeks total, 5 with doing 2 each week, um, so that we can get it done in 9 weeks and then go over it again. So in week 5 of the PMA group, we go over event-based and business uses of PMAs and partnerships, referrals, tracking, um, retreats, storefronts, different things like that. And then, very important, is we go over governance and member interactions. What are the community guidelines? Those are really important. A lot of groups, several groups that I've been in that were all sovereign, have fallen apart because they've let people get in there that just start cutting people down and um, just acting like children. And we're moving out of that realm. Society did a really good job. The villain in my book is called Society. They did a really good job of programming us to not being able to communicate and to shaming and blaming each other. We are totally leaving that behind. And we're going to help our members learn how to properly communicate when they're frustrated or whatever, and what is expected of them. How to play nice in the sandbox, if you will. And um, if disputes happen, and they will, how do you handle that? You don't just automatically say, "Oh, I'm done with you. I'm not going to deal with it." That's not mature either. Okay. We're learning and we're growing and we're evolving. So, how do we reconcile that and at what levels? Because it can escalate. So, we need to be able to have that, see through that, and have that established and make sure it's not one sided. There's nothing that's going to be worse than a one sided, I control it all. And if you have a dispute, you're going to go to my team. That's not very fair. So let's play nice in the sandbox, right? And then role playing, real life scenarios and examples, potential members. What do you do with the public? How do you market and advertise in the public if you're going to do that, but yet stay in the private? It's a, little bit of, we want to make sure that we're walking the line in private. Take a walk on the wild or the private side. And we will finalize and implement your PMA. What happens after its formation? How do you grow your PMA? How do you grow your members? And what kind of levels and different ideas and structures to have with that? Ensuring all your documents are in order. And last, towards the end, I'm actually going to have a guest speaker come on. We're going to be doing visualization techniques throughout this entire time. And I got some bonuses and some intentional impacts and learning how to really take action with integrity and honor. So I can't wait to share this with you. I hope you'll come on and take a walk on the private side with me. And if you have any questions, my website is www.thegameoflife101.com. My social media is on there. I'm not very active on Instagram or Facebook. Telegram is where I'm mostly active. Anyway, play the game of life, enjoy it, and until next time, roll the dice and have fun.